And thank you for joining us for this week on... And thank you very much for joining us, round 2 of the World Sports Series from Portugal. I know, it's just kidding, it's only April Fools, isn't it? Welcome everybody to round 2, the beginning of round 2 of the 2015 World Sports Series season. As I said in my outro intro, we are here at the absolutely fabulous Autodromo Internacional do Algarve, known most commonly to his friends as Portimao. It's a circuit of elevation changes, of hairpins, of sweeping corners, and brand new here at GPVWC for this year. I'm sure you're going to like it as much as we do. It was a disappointing round 1 for sure at the Circuit de Catalunya, but with such a challenging circuit on the cards, I'm hoping that the drivers will be a little bit more careful than usual. To take you through the action tonight, once again, is myself, James Kirk, and alongside me, making sure to not only be calling out the action, calling out those who are bad, but hopefully calling out more people who are good today, is Mr. Lewis McGlade, and he's also on cameras today, so hopefully you're not a bit overwhelmed by all of these duties that have been brought upon your shoulders, Lewis.
No, it's good to be back. Hopefully, as round 1, we get to put behind us and just move on. I will say apologies if the cameras get a little bit laggy. Same with the audio. We did have a bit of a problem with that 2 weeks ago, but the computer seems a little bit offbeat. Someone who isn't at the moment is Risto Capet, going 400th faster in the first sector. And so he is gradually improving on his current pole position time, which now there is so much information that we have to go through about grid drops. Now he's got a grid drop for starters. Not only that, he's actually going a bit slower than I actually thought. 43.081. We were expecting the pole position time to be a 42.8. So I would expect a little bit quicker than this for the pole time. But as we've said, Risto Capet's got a grid drop anyway. He keeps improving in the second sector, nearly a 10th up on his previous best.
Yeah, we will go through all of the penalties as they come. We've also got success ballast on top of that as well. But someone who's impressing me so far and who's just gone into 4th is Tom Parker for Epic Racing. Now, Tom was a little bit off the boil in Catalunya, surprisingly quiet in what was a very shouty round. But he got points in race 2 in Catalunya, got a couple of extra due to time penalties. And I'll tell you what, P4, given that Capet has a penalty, he could be starting on the second row of the grid. Also, a shout out to Robert Wiesenmuller making his debut for Woods Racing. We finally got a Woods on the grid, and it's good to see them back up in the top 10. Matthew Churgwin put in a good stint for Cosmo. But once again, the pole times very close at the moment. The top 15 all within a second, all the way from Risto Capet down to David Francic. Mind you, we've only got 30 seconds to go now of the qualifying session. So people who are just finishing up their lap now, this is going to be the last one.
I think, honestly, I think Risto Capet's pretty much got this. I'll have a little look at Mr. Strana, who's actually just behind him on track, once I've got everything sorted. There he is, Eric Strana. I'm not sure what he's doing in the first sector, but he's looking strong to take what will currently be pole position, as you've got a couple of people improving throughout the field. But obviously with the penalties that were Eric Strana missing the first round, His teammate does have a 5th place grid drop, as I say, we'll get to that later on. But he's looking pretty solid to start this race from pole position through the second sector. He's a 10th down on pole. But what I will notice, Risto Capet, 43.081. Eric Strana, 43.168. And then there's a 4/10th jump to the next person, which is John Monroe. Not in an ice cold this round, he's in a drag. But yes, that's very interesting. There's such a big gap at the front of the field.
Yeah, and it's a gap that we would expect to see in the old World Sports Series qualifying format as Superpole. But these guys have had 15 minutes to do their laps today. And to see that sort of gap, I mean, I think this can only do good things for Eric, because he's got his closest rival there just within a 10th of him of this provisional pole position. And to have Monroe then 4/10ths back, he must be thinking, God, if I'm this good in qualifying, if I'm able to string together all these good laps and come out with this good a result.
Ooh, John's on a good lap, I think. I think John's on a John Monroe. He's only like 400ths off through the second sector if it was believed to be correct. So yeah, we're looking at him now, and he's coming up towards the line. Is he going to improve? No, he doesn't. He doesn't do a very good final sector. But
let's see who else is going around. I think that might be it. I see La Paz is done, Dicky's done, Lopez is in.
Yeah, that's pretty much qualifying.
So that is qualifying.
Who knows what the order will be?
So Risto Capit takes pole position with a 1:43.0. Except he doesn't. It will be officially recorded as his pole position. But it will be Eric Strana who starts on pole. John Monroe, who starts second. Tom Parker, an absolutely epic, living up to the team name, an epic qualifying for Epic Racing Team. He'll be starting P3. And Jesper Nielsen, though he qualified P5 and would have been moved up to P4 for some poor post-race conduct in race 2, he also has a 5-place grid penalty. So David Yunt in a sensational qualifying for him, considering how bad he is usually in the World Sports Series calendar.
Wow.
He will start P4.
Jeez.
So,
that was tough.
Wow, Rob Wiesemuller will start P5. Churgwin for Cosmo will start P6.
That's an excellent qualifying for Churgwin.
Olsen P7, Lapassa P8. Siggy, who's got 27 kilograms of weight ballast and actually is our top guy with weight ballast out of the lot, will start P9, and Brugman will start P10. He's got 18 kilograms of weight ballast.
Yeah. Do you want to flick through all of the grid penalties? Do we want to get those up?
So shout out to Matthew Allington, by the way, who summed up that we have a total of 130 grid drops for this event. As I say, I think I addressed the entire field last broadcast and said things need to change. There are 130 grid drops, a number of time penalties as well, and a load of warnings that were handed out as well as a couple of disqualifications for no contract. So, live and learn, drivers, live and learn. Anyway, Matt Richards, is he here? I don't see him.
Yep, qualified about 14th.
Right, Matt Richards, he has a 15th place penalty. Whoopke Hookstrew, as he qualified 19th, he has a 10th place. Jeffrey Fournier, not here, but he has a 20 place. Jordan Weeks, who is here in 17th there, he's got a 10 place. Martina Sidanovas, who I didn't see on the server all 2 weeks, he's not here either, he has a 20 place as well. Sinky Vicious, we know is ill, he has a 10 place. Martin Palm, he's not here either, he has a 10 place to serve. Risto Capit, as we said, he's got a plus 15, so he will start P16, except he might not because penalties. Sandeep Choda, also not here. Plus 10. Nielsen, we've said he's got 5, so he'll be in and around the top 10 still. And Tomu Cabrera, who qualified all the way down in P24, he's got a 5 place as well. A couple of shout-outs to the new guys in the field. Well, we've got Tyrone Frith, rejoining TTF for this round. He's qualified last, unfortunately. We've also welcomed, I sincerely hope I don't butcher your name, Matusz Bogusz, I believe. Polish.
Matusz Bogusz.
Polish names are my
bane. I didn't realise he was taking part in this. Oh, I did a bit of racing with him not too long ago.
He's in at Tayfor for the Ilsinki Vicious, so we wish Matusz doing well.
Rob Wiesemuller is new.
Rob Wiesemuller is
Fun,
new.
fun fact about Robert Wiesemuller in these cars. Was talking to him a couple of weeks ago about this, him doing this round. He has turned possibly, a few thousand laps in these cars. Like just through various testing, just like turning it on and going around the track. I remember watching him drive it on a controller, which was hilarious. But this is the first race he has ever done in those cars. He's never raced them before, despite turning thousands of laps.
But all the
prior
testing that
to
he's
this.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing because I know he doesn't like these cars very much. So interesting to see how well he will do as just dropping in and showing what he can do in these cars.
Let's look at who disappointed us, shall we? I mean, Weeks, Brewster down there, Hoekstra, who was looking good in free practice, McGregor with the full 45 kilograms of weight ballast. He's 22nd. Jarl Tyen, who was up in the top 10 in Barcelona, without any weight ballast, starts P23.
Yeah, it's not good for him.
There are some poor qualifyings from today.
This is the thing, though. We were I was thinking about this, and I was talking to a couple of people prior to this. With this track, I did say it to you prior to the broadcast that if there was any track that you'd want to go to after Spain, obviously you don't want to go to Monaco, but this is another one of those tracks you just don't want to go to it after such a heavy contact round because a lot of the crested corners they're blind and they're a lift, quite a heavy lift. And you know what that's like in pack racing. That is asking for trouble, especially when we've just come out of Barcelona with, just a complete atrocity. So, it's interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how this event goes because this could set the standard for the season where if everyone takes a deep breath, learns a bit of patience, and we all keep clean, it's going to be a very good round. And then, I think that will set the standard for the full season ahead. If we don't have that, if it's not clean, if it's dirty, if it's like it was in Barcelona, I get the feeling that that's going to be the mentality of some of the drivers this season. I can't fault the disciplinary committee from what they've done.
So many penalties.
I think there was more than 30 penalties, including all the time penalties and stuff. And bearing in mind there is 30 drivers out there, that is a lot of penalties. Or is it 40 drivers out there?
There's also qualifying penalties as well, with escape and rejoins, track cutting and exceeding a track limits. I mean, DC went all out on this round. But anyway, we will hope for the best. I mean, the track has come under a lot of criticism. There's been two very distinct camps. There's been the camp which has been like, this is actually a lovely track to race on. Let's just give it a go. And then there's been the guys who are like, God, this track is awful. And I know you can sort of brush aside the guys who don't like it and like just say, oh, well, they're probably just slow on this track. That's why they don't like it. But Kevin Siggy, I know for a fact, absolutely despises this track with a passion. Yet he is fast there. So, yeah, anyway, let's just go through to and have a look at the championship standings as they are now. Got the top 10 here in the drivers. Ross McGregor leads on 36 from Augustin Canapino, who isn't here, interestingly, on 33. It's then Kevin Siggy on 26. He leads Lars Brugman also on 26, but Siggy's ahead because of his win last time in Catalonia. Then it's David Junt on 19, Sven de Vries on 17, Jordan Weeks on 16, John Monroe on 15, Risto Capit with 13, and Cameron Brewster with 13. And then looking at the Teams Championship, very, very close, apart from THR. They are way out in the lead currently on 55, from Vodbull on 33, but they've only got one driver here today. Mazurek is then on 27, Enterprise GP's on 26, Viking Racing's on 26, and Walk Racing is also on 26 points. So, although the battling wasn't that good last round, at least it looks like we've got as close a championship as we did last time. Because, to be honest, I mean, we look at THR there. I say they're off in the lead by 22 points. And yes, David Junt has had a good qualifying. But on the flip side, Ross McGregor with the 45 kilograms. Awful qualifying for him outside the top 20.
This is something that I was thinking about, and how it all works. And with a championship that's probably going to be this close, it's going to be, I reckon this championship will be as close as 2014, for better or for worse. It could be a heavy crash fest, or it might just be a really good championship like 2014 was. But it's going to be a case of going into that final round, you don't want to be leading the championship.
No, you
You
don't.
know, because as long as you can stay close enough to that lead, you want as little balance, especially considering the championship finale is at Monza,
Monza.
which is tough. You know, it's not an easy round to do with weight, with all those, you know, the acceleration zones, the high speed, especially going through the two les modes and stuff like that. It's a tough track to do. This is also a tough track to do with weight, especially from you know, just some of the undulation and the corners that they are. They you know, very, you can get a lot of understeer through them, and with the extra weight, that becomes, you know, it's like turning a battleship, and it's not good. It's not fun. So yeah, you know, I kind of understand why Ross is so far down.
Right, shall we go on board with Menoclon, Lewis, and take
position?
our viewers around Portimao? He is in
11th.
11th there. Right, we're in Sector 1 here. It's quite simple. There's turn 1, Primera, and then we're going around Lagos here. Now, this uphill left-hander, turn 4, awful corner, because you have to float round it. There's no way that you can just press hard on the pedal and think you can go over that all fine. Very, very tricky corner to navigate, as is Toro Veep, as you see Menocon locking up into there. Very deceptive left-hand hairpin, and Sector 2, this is my absolute favourite sector of the track. We've got this left-hander, and then we've got a downhill into uphill double apex right-hander. That's turn 7. This is Samsung, the uphill right-hander. Then we go up this hill, and then down the hill, and then up into my favourite corner of all time, Craig Jones, turn 9. Best name I've ever heard for a corner, as we now head into Portimao, because the track designers ran out of ideas, and then we're downhill once again, through turn 11, uphill once again. You get the drift on elevation changes here. You get the drift quite literally as well into turn 12. Another very deceptive left-hander. You've got to go through there slower than you want to. And there's a right-hander here down at Sagres, I think, or Sagres. Basically, it's a right-hander there, a short straight here, and then we have the monumental last turn at turn 14, rather disappointingly called Gulp, for whatever reason. Anyway, lovely final corner to swing us through onto the home straight, up the hill, and that is Portimao. So a very dynamic circuit, lots of overtaking opportunities, we hope, and as I say, you've got to be careful around here, and hopefully the difficulty level of this track will encourage some close but clean racing.
Indeed, it's just the difficulty of the track is going to, as I say, it's either going to make a very interesting round or it's going to make a very poor round. I'm watching Jarl Tyne, who had a nice escape from the track not too long ago. I don't think we can actually get replays, so apologies that we can't do replays on the broadcast. I don't know what button it is. But Jarl, this is something that I have noticed. If you do go off the track for whatever reason, there's like all these little escape roads. They're everywhere, and they're actually quite useful, because if you do fly over the wall for whatever reason, you can actually quite easily get back in without, you know, jumping onto the track into the middle of traffic.
Yeah.
Which I've seen before by quite a few people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's... Whereas the Circuit de Catalunya is quite narrow, and the runoff area is reasonably narrow or gravel, I guess this is what FIA safety wants from a track and actually understands from a track. If you go off, you should have plenty of room to come back on, and we can only hope that people are sensible and realise that they don't have to take liberties. Anyway, we're about to set off for race 1 of 2 here this evening. Without being biased towards anyone, Lewis, who do you think is going to take the race 1 win?
I honestly, you can't look past Eric. He's when you look out the front row with Risto Capit by that margin. It wasn't a small margin. You know, let's not sit here and pretend it was 0.4 of a second. I don't think you can look past Eric. He came in last season and 4 races on the trot, albeit one he did get disqualified from being an idiot, or not disqualified. He got a 20-second time
penalty. Yeah.
For not submitting his RF scan log. But those 4 races, the first 4 races that he did, as in race 1s, he won all 4 of them on the trot. So I think it's very, very hard to look past him with no weight or anything. But there is an interesting issue that comes from this with all of the other people that I'll get to in just a moment. Who do you think is going to win this race?
I'm also going to say Eric Strana. He took the most positions last year at 4. He's just inherited 1 here. And I think what showed more than anything is that he came in 2 rounds into the championship and was in the title fight at the end of it. So I think we're going to see a nice, easy Strana win, very much in the style of McGregor from Catalonia.
Okay. Well, my point from the old, and I've got to do this now, as your drink was last season. It is the notes.
Yes.
The notes are, and they state that this is the thing with Eric. Eric is probably going to win this first race. Okay, but you've got all these people that have had grid drops, that have had the weight ballast, such as Ross McGregor, and you've had all these people with grid drops like Risto Capet. Now, Risto might work his way back through, but the interesting thing is in race 2, all those people that had the weight ballast, that had the grid penalties, are probably going to start quite far towards the front, whereas Eric is most likely going to start in the middle of the field with maximum ballast. That is what is going to hurt Eric this evening.
15 to 20 place reverse grid for race 2, but we are here in race 1 for the moment, and Eric Strana has a chance to kick off his campaign here and now. He starts on pole position ahead of a very impressive qualifying John Munro. He was his ice-cold teammate just last round. This round he covers for Morten Wernerson at Drag Racing. Tom Parker, P3. What an effort from him. The last time he started this high, he took a race win in Germany, but that was 1.5 years ago. To have a jump with a very impressive qualifying from him. He's usually down in the midfield, up in P4, so good job from him. Rob Wiesemuller on his debut in these cars in a race. P5 for Woods, they'll be very happy, as will Matthew Churgwin. P6 for Cosmo Autosport. Excellent effort from him. Tobias Olsen does P7 for Majuric Racing, with Martin Lapassa at Taylor 2 races. It was last time out. One very good, one very bad. He starts P8 with Kevin Siggy, the first of our weight penalty runners. He's got 27 kilograms, and he starts P9 ahead of Jesper Nielsen. With a 5-place grid penalty, he starts P10. Lars Bruckmann starts P11. He's got 18 kilograms of weight ballast. Fran Lopez behind him starts P12. We then have Sven de Vries starting another disappointing P13 actually for Sven, but is in the race where he comes to life, and he's followed by David Francic. P14, then there's the 2 walks of Cameron Brewster P15 and Risto Capet following a 15-place grid penalty starting P16. Bart de Vos fills in for Sandeep Choda at YDF1 in P17 with Ilya Bracalo P18 for Triple 20. We then have Ross McGregor with the full 45 kilograms of ballast at THR in P19, and he's followed by Jarl Tyen P20 for Enterprise GP. Roy Schotten starts P21 for YDF1 with Mike Bell P22 for Lusitania. The 2 T4s of Mateusz Bogarts starts P23 with Alexander van der Wilder behind him in P24. Rob Mason starts P25 for Epic with Scott Cervic in at Woods. Welcome, Scott. P26 for Woods. Then have Jordan Weeks P27 following a 10-place grid penalty for Torrance. Mano Klomp P28 for Racing Team Schroten. Matt Richards after a 15-place grid penalty starting P29 for Cosmo. Uppy Hoekstra P30 after a 10-place grid penalty for him. He's with Racing Team Schroten. Tommy Crabera after a 5-place grid penalty starting P31 for CM Tech. Victor Silva starts P32 for Lusitania. Adam Oscars P33 for CM Tech. Florian Engels P34 for Wouters. And then we have the 2 TTFs of Sherwin van der Sloot and Tyrone Frith. We are missing 1 Waters.
And some other cars. Jeez,
one
you need to take
Torrent
a deep breath
cars.
from that. Need to take a deep breath from that. That was quite the grid to flick through with all the grid penalties as they're all lining up for the first race here at Portimao. 14 laps in this race, and then we'll be off into the second race of the evening. Who's going to win this one? Ooh.
Let's see. I'm interested to see who Parker starts, actually.
Indeed, he is very
good
good
off the line. And from P3, perhaps he can provide a challenge to the front runners. We shall have to wait and see. We have established winners like Strana and Yunt. We have some new guys like Parker and Munro, but here for the first time at the Circuit d'Algarve, we are off and away, and it is a good start from Strana actually, and Munro. Yunt slow off the line, but he seems to be okay, hurting down to turn 1. You can see the dynamic settings that we have here going downhill, and I think everyone's okay in the midfield. I think there's one person round. It looked like a vodball to me. Might have been Lopez, but coming round into turn 4 now with the lead is Strana, Munro, Parker, and Wiesemuller has got past Yunt in the first couple of corners, so a good start from Wiesemuller. Olsen also has gotten past Churgwin. Nielsen, great start from him. He's up into P8. And Sven de Vries as well, just getting past Kevin Siggy there into the left-hand hairpin. Remember, Siggy with the weight penalty, so he is probably one of the worst people to be driving on board with in these first parts of the race. Risto Capet, by the way, the fastest man in qualifying. He's up to P14. Ross McGregor up to P16 actually as well. So a good start from him as we head now into the dynamic section into Craig Jones. I'm never going to get old of that. I'll tell you what, first thing that's becoming very clear in this opening lap is Strana has a very clear and visible gap of about 5/10 to John Monroe behind. As I see a couple of people switching position, we will recoup the order of the top 10 once we get to the line. But again, as I say, Monroe looks comfortable.
Bit of contact between, I believe that's Kevin Siggy and Risto Capper. Just a little tap, but not too much. Did say it's go. Oh, God, it's a bit of lag there from Kevin Siggy. Jeez. I do apologise if I can't tell which the drivers are. It's very, very hard to see on the screen.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can tell you who the top 10 is. It's Strana across the line from Monroe, Parker, Wiesemuller, Junt, Olsen, Cherguin, Lapassa, De Vries and Nielsen rounding out the top 10, followed closely by Lopez, Capit and Siggy, all in very close pursuit, as is Brugman as well.
So where, you said we saw one of the Vobble spinning. Could that have been Canapino then?
Was Canapino's not racing.
Oh, well, there we go then. I'm not keeping up to date with this.
I think it's probably Carlo. It was a dark car, and I know that the
okay.
Triple 20 is a pretty dark car anyway.
It took me this long to realise that Canapino wasn't racing. That's pretty poor.
Yeah, well done. But anyway, oh, look at this. Sven De Vries. I think there might have been contact between Nielsen and Lapassa, because De Vries is up into 8th, Nielsen down to 9th, and Lapassa down to 10th. Is that Risto Capit going for a massive dive on Lapassa, and Lapassa almost scared off the road. I know the two are good friends, but looks like actually Lapassa's been able to get past Risto. Yeah, my one worry with Risto was his pace is very, very large in comparison to the rest of the field here. We know he's good in these cars. He's a champion in these cars. Fran Lopez, not afraid to look up the inside there of the Estonian, but I was worried about whether he was going to perhaps, barge his way through almost. He's looking good though.
Oh, here goes Fran Lopez looking for a bit of a dive, but keeps it out of... there we go.
And round he goes, and good avoidance from Kevin Siggy there behind, and indeed the rest of the field. Yeah. That's good driving from Lopez as well, making sure that he keeps it offline. As I see Oscar going round as well.
Yeah, spinning behind. Oh, there's big crash.
Who was that? That's Francic.
I think that was Lopez getting hit by someone.
Yep, it was Francic involved there.
He's retired.
And he is retired, so becomes our first retirement of the day, unfortunately. Oh no, I lie. It is Ilya Bricalo, our first retirement of the day, followed by Lopez and Francic. It was a bit late for me to catch what actually happened.
No, I didn't see it either.
Might have been cursed to the commentator saying Lopez was doing a good job offline. He might have been joined badly.
Interesting. I've just seen that Eric Strana's at the fast lap of the race that then got destroyed by 2/10 Tobias Olsen.
Well,
and also Tom Parker did set a fast lap as well. So this race isn't done yet.
Tobias Olsen is on the back of Junt and Wiesemuller here, and we know he is fast in these cars, but very much like Lapassa actually last time out, it was a tale of two races. He did very well, very solid drive in race 1 at the Circuit of Catalunya, but then in race 2 it was sort of classic Olsen, spinning, making mistakes. But you know what? We saw Philip Cullen in the early stages of Super Cup, the first 2 rounds. He had sensational race 1s. If Olsen could do the same thing here, then that could catapult him up the driver's standings, as I'm sure his Zurich team boss Mike Schroden will be very happy he does.
Indeed, he's doing a very good job. We saw him do a solid job the previous round, and we did say that him and De Vries, good lineup. We were all very... I wasn't too sure about Tobias prior to the season, but he did a very solid job in the previous round to get. I think he got a 5-second time penalty, or he got a time penalty in the second race, if I recall correctly. But mostly just didn't crash, which is usually a feat of Tobias, is binning it. So he did a very solid job, and he's doing one now. He's staying in 6th. I will say, David Junt is also doing a very solid job to hold that car in 5th. That's very impressive.
I'm just going to shout out Tom Parker again. He's
doing a solid job.
He's there in 3rd. I mean, he's not too far away from the leaders of Strana and Monroe. And it must be said, actually, I thought Strana was going to pull out a gap here. Monroe is keeping it within that 6/10th gap.
He just set the fastest lap of the race.
By no means is it over for Eric Strana. By no means at all. A much closer beginning to the race than it was in Spain. Tom Parker, he's in a bit of no man's land. He's holding on to the edge. Oh!
Sorry, John just blew my neck. There was Eric really, really slow on the apex of, I think it was turn 3, and John nearly smashed the back of his car. Terrifying. I bet that caught John out a little bit.
Maybe it's a tactic. What's it?
Possibly.
Brake testing?
Well, no, it could just be different lines through the corner. I mean, I know Eric's got this way with driving that's a little bit different than a lot of other driving styles. It's just a different way of attacking the corner. with some corners you can attack late apex, early apex, stuff like that, just to have a different line. I think he's got a different approach to the corners, which is slow in and fast out. Which obviously John's is a little bit different to that.
Yeah, indeed. So while we let top 6 battle away up front, it's up 4 of 14 here. Let's look back to Matthew Chergwin now. He lost a position at the start, but he's still there in P7 as Rob Wiesenmuller just loses a position to David Junt. Trust me. Let's look at this battle actually. P4 to P6. Is Olsen going to have a little look up the inside of Wiesenmuller? No, he's not, but that's David Junt up into 4th position. And another reminder about the success ballast into race 2. The top 5 in race 1 will all get the weight ballast that the top 5 in the championship had in qualifying and the first race indeed. So at the moment, Strana, Monroe, Parker and Junt looking for penalties. There's Olsen up the inside of Galp. Oh my word.
That's not a place you want to go too wide.
Yeah, well done to Olsen for keeping it clean at least. Wiesenmuller looks to be struggling a little bit now though. He's done very well to stay up there, and it looks like he's pretty much assured of a top 10 given that he doesn't spin, but he needs to be careful and realise, if Olsen is looking faster, it's probably better to let him go, especially since Woods have already 2 strikes out of 6 on their report card and for non-attendance, and well, they need points. They need something positive to shout about.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a train here. It's Matthew Chergwin, Sven de Vries, Jesper Nielsen and Risto Kappet. I think it's the one that you were going to go to prior to this. Risto Kappet's right on the back of this train, looking like he's going to go for a dive on Jesper Nielsen. Oh, he doesn't do it. I think the outside line for the hairpin's just a little bit quicker. So, you can defend quite nicely there. Interesting tactic to learn for Formula Challenge. We'll tell you that. But no, Riso's right on the back of this. He's not making... I think he's not making as much progress as I initially thought. But I think he's just trying to keep calm and not bash anyone off.
Yeah, and indeed, of course, by keeping out to the top 6, or top 5, I should say, he'll have no weight ballast for race 2. So if we get a 15 reverse grid, he'll be looking in a pretty nice position. But I'll tell you what, good defensive driving from Nielsen as well. Wasn't exactly the championship showing he wanted as Risto up the inside here. Oh, a bit of contact as well. But then again, Nielsen, he's keeping his cool. He's keeping his car in all the right places. Kappet will have to try around the outside here of turn 13 at Sagres, but he can't do it. So this is excellent defensive driving from Nielsen, the proper champion driving that we were expecting from him last round.
Yeah, he's been struggling with this track. I know he's not enjoyed it very much. I think he's kind of going to lose position here as we've got the run from Risto. But he's not enjoyed this track very much. It's not really his track. But as long as he keeps putting in consistent results and, he's thereabouts, I'm sure he'll be fine, as he's going to try and hold it around the outside. Doesn't?
Maybe he can have a little turn back into Lagos. Turn 3 is. Oh, I see Sven de Vries going for the outside of Chergwin. Doesn't work, but it looks like that's a nice position for Kappet, La Passa.
Oh, bit of contact there. Bit of contact between the two. Chergwin tried turning in a little bit.
Wide, and that's going to lose him a whole host of positions as he rejoins.
That was careful.
Not very careful, if you ask me, de Vries.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just say it as it is. It wasn't careful. Oh, Nielsen off the road! Oh, he's gone very wide. Thankfully, there's runoff there, not gravel. And oh my word,
that was a bit of a dangerous rejoin.
Back into Siggy as well.
Might want to check a replay on that one, though. Really?
Kappet's the one who's gained the most out of it. He is now up to P7, ahead of de Vries and La Passa. Chergwin down to P10, and Nielsen down to P13. So it's all chopping and changing down here in the mid-points positions.
Yeah, I want to know what happened to Jesper there. Unless he must have locked up on the curb. He might have actually got hit from behind. I can't see because I can't do the replay thing. Don't know what the button is. And I don't really want to go playing back with buttons now. But I don't know if that was a mistake from Jesper or if that was a little bit of contact.
Indeed, I'm just having a little look down the bottom parts here of the order. Doesn't look like there's too much going on. We do have another retirement in the form of a Jarl tie-in, so his season goes from bad to worse. At least he started off the line, I guess, this time. But let's have a little look. Look at Wiesenmuller here. Wiesenmuller is still ahead of Olsen, but I don't know. Olsen just seems like the faster car. I mean, look, David John's starting to play ever so slowly.
Yeah, but we know what Tobias is like. He'll try and look at every move, which obviously Rob's got to cover off a little bit. It's going to be helping David Jump make that gap to extend that, to pull that out. So, he's doing a good job of it at the moment.
Chergwin. Chergwin's fallen down to P13. And let's see what happened here.
See if we have a replay button. Let's have a look.
Oh, we got hit off by Brugman.
We can do the replay. Oh my god.
Yeah. You got hit off by Brugman at turn 1. And yeah, that was just sad. It was side by side, and then Brugman, he drifted too wide, and so Cherwin was forced off the track there. He's down into P13. He's still well in this battle for the points, and as I say, he's doing a very good job as well.
Good place for race 2 as well.
Good place for race 2 as well, so always got to think of the long-term game.
Oh, La Passa and De Vries, P9
Yeah.
and P8, getting very close.
Craig Jones!
Craig Jones!
and goes La Passa!
That was almost going to be a bit too much of a pinch there from De Vries, but he recognised it a bit too late, or
good
a bit
move
late.
from La Passa, if you
That
ask
was
me.
a good move, yeah.
And now he's got to watch out for Brugman, who wants to get involved, and Siggy as well, who's been able to keep with this battle despite the 27 kilograms of weight ballast. You can only imagine what's going to happen once you relieve him of that weight ballast. The same can be said of Brugman as well, with 18.
Indeed. It's honestly, I'm looking at La Passa, and you got to think what's behind him. What he can see in his mirrors is an absolutely terrifying sight. You got De Vries, Brugman, Siggy, Nielsen.
The champion Nielsen.
Exactly. It's just like, oh wow, as Reece de Capit's fast up in the race. Not really surprising, as the lead gaps within half a second. But it's a terrifying thing to see behind your car.
All those cars, yeah, as well. But we were saying this about La Passa, as I see Nielsen up the inside there as Siggy. Oh, Siggy, he's turning in a little bit early, but he's left enough space for Nielsen. He's going to be caught out here in turn 4 because he's going to be slower off the apex. And now, where is Nielsen? He's going to look to the outside of Siggy. I'm thinking probably best to let Nielsen pass at this point, though. Surely he's got the faster car as Siggy on the inside. He's still defending the corner, to be fair, and that's nice defence as I see Brewster and Cherwin going into battle behind as well. So nice battle between the two men of TSA,
yeah,
who are not in a TSA car for once. But Siggy, oh, look at him here. Trying everything to keep Nielsen behind. I mean, if you're in this position, Lewis, you've got weight penalty on board, you've got race 2 coming up, and you're in a pretty safe position. It's 15 to 20 the reverse grid, so you're definitely going to be up there at the front. We saw David Jump playing the long game a lot last year, where he was like, oh no, I'll let this guy have the position because I know I'm going to be up there at the front in race 2 and I know I can potentially get a podium or win in race 2. Is it worth risking your car here in race 1 like Siggy is?
I don't know, you've got to fight for what you've got at the moment. You never know how far the championship's going to come down to, and if he's going to be going to the next race with no weight, I'm pretty sure he's confident in his head that he's going to win it. So fighting for these positions is actually quite key. That tactic that David Young did last season, the effectively I'll finish low down in the points in race 1 so I can go for a decent position in race 2. Not a popular tactic, not illegal, of course.
Not illegal, no.
It's perfectly acceptable. It's what the rule system is basically asking for. If you can't fight for those positions, just drop back a little bit and you'll get a nice go in race 2. Obviously, a lot of people have benefited from that. I don't know. It's not a popular tactic to take, but for Siggy, sure, if he wants to win the championship, that might be one that he's considering. He's not looking too comfortable with the weight.
De Vries on the passer. Oh, De Vries. Sorry, I was looking. De Vries was on the outside of the passer. He decided to come in behind him. Gave him a right old whack in the arse as they went round the hairpin to De Vries. It's ass, whatever. It's a donkey, whatever. But anyway, you can tell De Vries is getting a little bit edgy.
I see Jarl time down the race again.
Yeah, we covered Jarl.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Not a clue. I've just looked onto my other screen and I just saw his name.
Matusz Boguts is a new person out though, so unfortunately our Polish debut is out for TAFE already. But yeah, La Passa, he's doing such a good job so far. Just as I say, putting his car in all the right places, which is what a lot of people have been doing actually today. It's been much better. A very positive start here in race 1 as all. De Vries down the inside, but yeah, you can see De Vries, he's getting irritated, isn't he? It's very much like with Olsen up with Wiesemuller. He knows he's faster at this point in the race, but he just can't get past him for one reason or another.
It's not easy, as Reece de Capit is a 42.9, I believe. I can't remember what times we're looking at for pole position.
42.8.
Bit of contact there between De Vries and, well, considering Sven's issues in the previous round with Matt Richards, that was pretty disgusting, Sven.
That was nice at all. And Lapasa up the backside. Inside, backside, whatever way you want to go. De Vries is passed and Lapasa, that was a nice opportunistic move from Brugman actually around the outside of turn 4. Fair play to him. I also noticed Jesper Nielsen has gotten past Kevin Siggy finally and is looking about now further tormenting Lapasa as he gets held up behind Brugman actually. Lapasa's keeping with him and keep an eye on Churkin behind here. Brugman gets past, Lapasa down to 10th. Will he lose a place in Nielsen now? Nielsen looking to the inside!
Careful, Jesper.
Got to be careful around there. Thankfully, Jesper is a talented driver. He knows where to put his car. Look at this, Churgwin now onto the back of Siggy as well. And Ross McGregor, who's had a very quiet race so far with the 45 kilograms on board. He is in the point scoring positions. P14, he's going to be in a right prime position for race 2, isn't he? As what's going on up there? Who was launching a move?
I think it was just... Oh, it's Lapasa gone past...
No, Siggy's gone back past Nielsen.
Okay. I'm getting a bit lost with where all the cars are these days.
Well, to be honest.
It's all a lot of dueling, really.
It's great battling. Great battling, which is what we like to see. But yeah, you can definitely tell that. I mean, look at that. I mean, De Vries and Brugman are now flying off. The passes in the world of his own. And the weight penalty really... the success balance really starting to affect Siggy now. He's got to train himself with Nielsen and Churgwin behind.
Weight penalty, success balance. We all know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's all good. But yeah, Strana's just gone, right, well, bye. I'll disappear off now.
Cap, yeah. He's had enough of this 6/10 cap.
Oh, Churgwin.
Oh, yep, Churgwin. Inside of Nielsen, that was late, and he's knocked him off the track and himself.
Spun himself, yeah, that was poor.
Thankfully, Nielsen didn't lose too much. He's now behind McGregor. Massive relief for Siggy, though. He's going to be thinking, cool, the two people who were behind me, they've just taken each other out. Lovely.
This is the driver that we didn't want to see after Barcelona.
But, being what? Two incidents in the entire race.
Yeah. No, it's fine. This is the kind of stuff that we...
This is normal racing. Like we expect a couple, so it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. I'll start throwing it at the wall when it starts happening regularly.
When there's an incident every lap, then we have reason for concern. But anyway, as you rightly say, Eric Strana's just he's
checked out.
Okay, thanks, bye. But you can't take anything away from Monroe and Parker behind them. I mean, they've done so well to keep up with Strana in first place. Monroe especially. I mean, he's done so well for to secure even a P2 for Drake. Tom Parker, though.
You know what, though? I think Parker's catching him.
Think?
Not by much. I want to keep an eye on the gap. It's currently 1.1 seconds. I want to keep an eye on the gap all the way to the line, see if he gains anything in the third sector.
It's because 1.1 seconds now.
Yeah, it looks like he might be... Not much, but it looks like he might be gaining, because I swear this gap was about 2 seconds earlier on in the race. So I think Parker's trying to make a bit of an advantage on that as it extends to 1.2, 1.3, yeah. So I think that's a gap I want to keep an eye on, really, because I think that might be closing up. Speaking of closing up, I think we've got a close duel between David Junt and Robert Wiesenmuller, yes.
He's left the close watch of Tobias Olsson as the Swede actually falls back into the clutches of Capit, who's been on a bit of a charge since losing, as I see. There's a battle going on further back, De Vries and Brugman. Brugman going through on the American. Nice move from, Lars Brugman's been a real lovely character to see in the field. He's 4th in the championship going into this round, 18 kilograms of weight ballast. Nice move overall as we look back now to David Junt and Rob Wiesenmuller. God, what Woods would do to get a top 4 or 5 here. I mean, they are in that position. Jump a lot of teams as well who haven't scored points at all. Head up to Samsung.
Oh, Lapasa.
Out into... There was a bit of lag here.
Yeah.
A bit of lag. But, will Rob have a dive? No one. But you were saying Lapasa?
Lapasa was just having a little bit of a look. But no,
Siggy! That's what Siggy did to Nielsen. I mean, Portimao's the most interesting corner on this track, I think, because it's such a wide berth corner. It's kind of like turn 1 at Austin. There are so many lines you can take into it, and there are so many opportunities to leave the door open that if you've got good beats, you can just steam up the inside and take the position. Thank you very much.
Indeed. I'll tell you someone who's not going to be happy at this race. It will be Jesper Nielsen. He'll try and bounce back. He's got 1 point, I believe, to his name this season so far. Looking to gain.
No, he hasn't.
Has he not? Oh,
he gained points because of the because of the penalties.
Okay.
He's currently on 4.
Oh, a whopping 4 for the champion after 2 races. A total of 50 points on the board. He's knocked up 4.
He'll be almost doubling his points from this season.
Just from this one race, obviously. We expect. Ahead, De Vries.
Yeah,
off the circuit. Oh, De Vries is staying off. Bye, De Vries. See ya. Just that's what happens when you try braking on the curbing. It's not pretty.
Will McGregor take advantage though? 45 kilograms of weight ballast. You wouldn't put it against McGregor to try and use his weight to slow the car down a bit earlier than De Vries into the hairpin we go of Toro Vip. Doesn't do anything though. Could it be possible that De Vries is losing his tyres, or was he perhaps just pushing a bit too hard? As Lapasa.
Yes, Lapasa and Brugman. Yeah. Oh,
but Brugman's on the inside here of Samsung, and that's position taken back as Siggy has a little opportunistic look. Out of all these, is Lapasa still there? Yes, he is. Look at him go.
Almost trying to stay side by side through Craig Jones. Or report him out.
Brugman covering off the line. Siggy not bring off the line. Oh, I love that corner. It's great to see the racers go through there, and so far good defensive work from Brugman. Good awareness from Lapasa as Tyrone Frith causes a bit of trouble. I can totally appreciate Lapasa and Siggy's reactions trying to get past Frith. He didn't get off circuit at all. But anyway, round as we go now, and it's the final lap for Strana.
Is it? Very quick.
But good defensive work from Brugman, good awareness from Lapasa. Siggy lucky enough not to spin.
The gap has been coming down for third, by the way.
It hasn't. No, it stayed at 1 point. Oh no.
No, it's 8 tenths.
It's 8 tenths. Yeah. Fair play.
It's not enough. I don't think Parker's going to be able to get a move done, but it has been coming down. That there is showing Parker's pace at this track. He's doing a stunning job.
He's doing a great job. Yeah. Great job.
Yeah.
I also noticed that Olsen's been so far being able to hold off Cap, who's had a very good race actually. Cap, to be fair. To come back up into 7th from 16th. Brugman, I think Brugman and Siggy as well, considering their weight penalty, they've had pretty good events as well, as they now come into the hairpin with Lapasa and De Vries in tow. Lapasa tries around the outside of Brugman, goes a bit wide. Siggy will look to the inside. I don't think he'll be doing too much, but look how close these cars all still are. Got to be careful if you're Siggy.
It's all very close, yeah.
All very close. You don't want to be losing it now, especially with a nice reverse grid position in your grasp as De Vries loses it on the exit of Samsung. There could be under massive pressure from McGregor, who's also had a good race, actually. To be fair, Chogwin now down to 15th. Weeks up into 14th, actually, as well. So fair play to him. But let's focus back onto the leader now. Turn 13, he comes round, and it wasn't as easy a position as we thought it was, or an easier win as we thought it was going to be, as Siggy's gone off the track, I think, and been overtaken by De Vries as a last move. But Strana comes across the line to take his first win of the season by a good 4-second margin. Monroe, a strong second for Drake. Tom Parker, 8 tenths away. What a great race from him. David Junt did hold on to 4th with Wiesem on 5th. Tobias Olsen 6th. Christo Cap at 7th. Brugman will come around the final corner to finish 8th with Lapasa 9th. De Vries did get past Siggy into P10. And then Siggy himself in 11th, Nielsen 12th, McGregor 13th, Weeks in 14th, and Matthew Churgwin will round out our point scorers in 15th, and the rest of the reverse grid order are Royce Froten in 16th, so almost a point for YDF1. Brewster and Bart DeVos in very close pursuit as well, so the 2 YDF1s in with a good chance of points for race 2. Mike Bell 19th, and Matt Richards rounds out the top 20. Your retirements, by the way, were Maciej Boga, Sial Tayan, David Francis, Fran Lopez, and Ilya Bracalo.
Yeah, it was a much better race than what we ended Barcelona, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it was I would say not an easy win for Eric, but he didn't have too much pressure. As Parker did a properly stand-up drive. I will say, though, David Junt, that's the best drive he's had in a race won since Canada last year. So he's looking to have stepped up his game in this car, which... in my opinion, after finishing second in the championship, you really ought to. And he's proven that that he can make it in these cars. He can fight for these positions in these cars. So good job to him. He's did a very good job out there to David John. Obviously, Robert Wiesenmüller as well on his debut. Who is going to win this second race, though? Not a clue. Um, Possibly with the order as it is, I'd say maybe Risto Capit or Kevin Siggy will be your best bet.
It does
No
very
weight
much
to either.
depend. Ross McGregor,
It is true. Ross McGregor's starting.
Nielsen as well.
I don't honestly respect Jesper a lot. Love you, buddy. Don't think he's got the pace of this track.
He hasn't actually had a win in the World Sports Series
And he
yet.
hasn't had the win in the World Sports Series, but I don't think that will change today.
Right, so we now eagerly await the reverse grid number of 15 to 20. Who is your driver of the day today, though, Lewis, from race 1?
Well, it's really good that you asked me the drive for the day halfway through it. It's a really tough one. I've got to either go with Eric, who did a standout job just to pull away from the front of the field and qualify as close to Risto as he did. Parker, who did a fantastic job to get on the podium. But I'm actually leaning towards Dundu, or David Junt, sorry, for those who don't know. But David Junt, who did do an incredible job to get that up into fourth. After, he's not really fought too far in the top 5, let alone, top 10 really, let alone top 5. Regularly in the first races over the 2014 season. So I think he's, making that step up in 2015. So I'd probably say David Junt.
I'm absolutely going with Tom Parker. I don't think...
He did a fantastic job.
Fair play to John Munro, I think, will be surprised with the podium. I mean, lovely guy to talk to. I think, he was aiming for top 6, have a podium for Drake as well. Great job from him, but, I mean, Tom Parker, that is the sort of Tom Parker that we were expecting to see in 2014 after he won his first race at GPVWC 2013 at the German Sports Series, the finale at the Nürburgring. Great to see him back up there. I don't think he'll like the fact that he's going to have 27 kilograms of weight weight ballast now. But
no,
you can't take it away from him. Solid 16 points.
Indeed, it has been very solid. I've actually just checked. Augustin should be back for the second race. Ooh,
interesting, and he won't have any weight penalty.
And he won't have any weight penalty. Might be able to score a couple of points, get that on the board, but or whatever I said last round, I was like, score some points on the board on the whatever I said. I said something really weird while I was trying to say get some points on the board. But Augustin might be able to score some, but it's going to be a tough run for him. But yes, I am eagerly waiting that reverse grid number.
As am I. So if you've got any thoughts that you want to share with us, or any questions that you want to ask the drivers once we get to interviews after race 2, then please feel free to tweet me at KirkyLife with the hashtag GPVWC Live. That's going to be our new one, which I've made up right now because it's much better than just lots of letters. So hashtag GPVWC Live. At KirkyLife, we've already had a couple of tweets in before the event, which are interesting. Nice to hear the opinions of some people, of course. But yeah, make sure you get your questions in. We'd love to hear them. And overall, I'm feeling a lot better, actually. Of course, there are some incidents, as there are in every sim race. But that's what we expected World Sports Series to be. Close racing, positions changing all the time, and best of all, the lead gap was less than 5 seconds.
Indeed, there was a couple of dirty moves out there that I'm sure some people might be classified as partially hypocritical about judging. But it was there was a couple of odd moves, but as you say, other than that, it was a solid round of racing. We had what WSS kind of got known for last year was this weird kind of pack racing kind of thing. You got groups of 5 or 6 racing as a group throughout the race. So
well,
yes, interesting.
Very interesting front 3 prospect here. Matthew Allington, the team boss of Why the F1, has just taken a cream egg and broken it open and shoved the cream out of that, because he's got Bart DeVos on pole position and Roy Schroten in 3rd.
I don't know what reference you were trying to get to with that cream egg thing, by the way.
Some things work, Lewis, and some things don't. Anyway, Brewster P2. Now, we saw Brewster. He had a dodgy first round. I think it's fair to say the least. He was very much on the line between warnings / penalties and good racing. but we know what he can do from these reverse grids from last year. And with all due respect to the two YDF1 guys, you know, yes, he's got strong competition around him in the likes of McGregor, Nielsen, Siggy, but he could be on for a good result here, possibly a podium.
Absolute possibility. But I see. This is the thing: is that last round it was all good until the second race, and so I'm going to remain skeptical as to how well this one's going to go.
Yeah.
I do think the result of the race is classic WSS, totally up in the air. Don't know who's going to win this race. Literally, it could be like anyone in the top 20. You know, it's crazy, but no, interested to see who is going to be able to pull it off. Again, like last time, pretty sure I know who won't be able to do it, and that is Eric Strana. I just don't think he can pull
45
that.
kilograms, yeah.
It's too much weight to pull through the field. We saw this time and time again. I think whilst going through it, I found out that last season the highest he ever finished with that kilogram was at Montreal, and it was 7th. Other than that, it was something like 12th or 13th.
Yeah, it was never in the top 10, was it?
It was a real struggle for him to get used. So I think a track like this, another one where it's going to be struggle, I think he'll do a proper cracker of a job if he gets into the top 10. I don't think you'll see it though. So I'm pretty sure Eric won't win this. Sorry. But I think if he makes his way through the field like he did last time, without bashing anyone off, I can't put my money on anyone but Risto. Risto Cabot.
Now, Risto's the one I want to talk about the most because
Good
he's
segue.
going to be midfield again. He did a good job in race 1, but he's going to be there or thereabouts in the midfield, and I do think that he's on for a podium, yes. But if McGregor / Nielsen / Shiggy can get through those front lot, or even Weeks, because Weeks is in there as well, we forget.
Yeah, too many drivers.
If those lot can get through the first, the front guys of the two YDF1s, Brewster in there as well, then they can run. Because we saw that Risto, once he got up to the faster guys in the field, did have a bit of trouble getting past. In fact, I remember it was a big incident that saw Risto come up to 7th, wasn't it? It was the clash between La Passa and De Vries, which saw Risto all the way jump up and even when he got into 7th, he couldn't get past Olsen.
Yeah,
so, he's got good pace. He seems to have good battling skills. He's very aware. Fair enough. We know this already. But whether he's in with a chance of the win, I can't call it yet.
It's just too hard. I think it's just a little bit too hard to properly, confidently call who is going to win this race. Canapino is in the server, I believe, setting the current fastest time of the warm-up session, as it is him. But yeah, I think it's just a little bit too hard to tell who is going to win this race. But hopefully, it's going to be a classic WSS race as opposed to the awful Barcelona, and I have confidence after that race. However, staying mildly skeptical.
Scott Woodwest tweets in and says, shout out to John Munro is second. They warm up to his debut, or not his debut, sorry, but his Mazda MX-5 Sucup racing at the weekend. So shout out to John, a real life racer, we should say. And it's I tell you what, a lot of real life racers, not naming names, but
we know this.
But there's a lot of them that don't necessarily shower themselves in glory when it comes to racing standards. Going back to the whole issue again, they have absolutely astonishing pace, as is clear with the likes of Munro and with Canapino as well. To be fair, we had Davis as well. He's a real life racer. He raced in the ITC. We saw Dennis Lind a couple of years ago in World GT. He's a real racer. He was straight on the pace already. Those guys are naturally good racers. Stoffel Van Dorn, of course.
Stoffel Van Dorn, yeah, I remember.
Sim racer extraordinaire.
Over in
now in GP2. But the problem is that sometimes they find themselves in situations which, as I say, they don't necessarily make themselves seem like nice racing drivers because they crash into people or they end up in incidents which were completely avoidable. Munro, however,
He's always been a good boy.
He's polite. He's well mannered. I mean, we had him in the interview booth yesterday. Oh, sorry, 2 weeks ago.
Yep, yesterday.
Yesterday. Lose my mind, aren't I? But we had him in the interview booth a couple of weeks ago. You know, he said that a spin was pathetic when it really wasn't. A spin's a spin. There's not much you can do about it. But actions speak louder than words. And it must be said that Monroe's actual racing, his racecraft, is second to none. You know, it's wonderful to see him on track. Because to be fair, I was kind of sad not to see him have a battle, really, to take part in race one. He's only going to have a battle on his hands now with 36 kilograms of weight ballast, though.
Yeah, I mean, I raced John a little bit over in, naming out other leagues, TPS VST, the Virtual Super Tourers, the 90s BTCC cars. We had a bit of a race with him, a couple of rounds. Yeah, he was always one that I was just like, it's all right, he'll always give me room. He'll always give you that extra bit of room. And so out there on a field with some really, really aggressive drivers, that extra bit of room, that extra bit of caution is what makes the difference, to be honest. If you have two aggressive drivers, you are guaranteeing a crash. I've had it before where I've been, cruising up behind two aggressive drivers who are really going at it, and you're just like, so I don't have to do anything. There's going to be a crash. And there is. There always is. So, and John's, like, he tries, it's the same reason why Jesper can do it sometimes. Jesper gives that extra bit of room, and it's that extra bit of room, that extra bit of security that sometimes avoids incidents. It's not helped Jesper this season of WSS, but it sure has helped John, along with some proper cracking pace. So yeah, John is one to really look out for. I wonder how many more rounds this season he'll do. He's obviously in a different team this time. Yeah. Maybe moving on to a different team next round. Maybe
a mercenary.
Staying. Yeah, he could be all over the place. So interested to see where he's going to go, because he's very quick, and obviously good luck with the upcoming weekend.
Certainly. So we've got about 30 seconds to 1 minute until we head into race 2. Reminder that we have weight ballast here in race 2. I've been alluding to it throughout our little pre-race 2 discussion. 45 kilograms to 9 kilograms are applied to the top 5 from race 1, as they were applied to the top 5 in the championship, heading into the qualifying for the first race. Those top 5 will be Strana with 45, Monroe with 36, Parker with 27, Yunt with 18, and Visa Muller on his debut, of course, with 9. It'll be interesting to see how they fare, because they have been put back 18 places thanks to our reverse grid. It's going to be De Vos, Brewster, and Schroten, the first 3. Looking at YDF1, Lewis, you have 2 drivers there in the top 3. They know they're not on the pace of the front runners. But would you think that for both of those drivers not to score points, it would be a massive, massive, massive disappointment for them?
I do think so. Obviously, after what happened to them last year with Edness, it's going to be. I think they're going to score. I think they're going to score points. It's right. I think it will be a disappointment if from first and third, Edness left this round with no points. So, yeah, I think you'll see them both in the points. Don't know if both of them will finish in the top 10, but I think one of them really should finish in the top 10 based on their starting positions, unless they get battered off.
I'm actually going to say I don't think they'll finish top 10, but I'd be disappointed to see them finish below 15th. Both of them, that is. Wish you all the best, YDF1. We salute you, the reverse grid candidates. It's a shame not to see Victor Silva having the same luck that he had last year. He's not here, is he, to be fair, for Lusitania? So,
Maybe still doesn't have a contract.
No, he doesn't. So that's a shame for Silva. But anyway, let's have a look at this grid. So there we are. Capit starts 12th, Lewis. I don't think he can win from there, especially considering the people ahead of him, without weight penalty.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Anyway, we're looking at the grid lining up now. The last time we saw 2 orange cars up there at the front was last year. And I wonder whether they can make something work. Bart De Vos, of course, he was a bit of a star in 2013's WSS season. Took a fastest lap in Monaco, I believe.
Did he really?
He did, yes, in race 2, where Wookie Hoekstra won. It was a fun round there with rain galore. He heads us off on pole position from Cameron Brewster and Roy Schroten. Matthew Churgwin, okay, started in 6th in race 1, starts 4th in race 2. Maybe one to watch out for. Jordan Weeks, another one to watch out for. He took a podium in race 1. And he took points in race 1 here, but it was a retirement in race 2 in Catalonia. Will it be the same thing in Portimao? Ross McGregor starts P6 with Jesper Nielsen. P7, Kevin Siggy starts P8. And Sven de Vries starts P9 with Martin Lapassa, rounding out the top 10. Lars Brugman starts P11 with Aristo Capit, P12. Tobias Olsen starts P13 with Robert Wiesemuller, P14, and starting off our weight ballast men, he has 9. David Junt is behind him with 18. Tom Parker behind him with 27. John Monroe then with 36. And Eric Strana, our winner from race 1, with 45. Mike Bell, unlucky to miss out on reverse grid pole position, starts P19 with Matt Richards, P20. Then have Whoopke Hoekstra, P21 with Alexander van der Woude, P22. Scott Cervix starts P23 with Victor Silva. He is here. We completely missed him. P24. Adam Oscar is P25. Though you said Silva doesn't have a contract still. I'll get disqualified again if he doesn't sort that out. 27 is Florian Engel with Tomu Cabrera, P28. Then Oklontis P29 with Sherwin van der Sloot, P30. Tyron Frith is P31. And then we have our retirees from last race, Matthew Spoggerts, P32. Jarl Tyen, perhaps one to watch out for from the back in P33, along with David Frantich and Fran Lopez, actually, P34 and P35. Ilya Bricalo can also be counted in there, P36. And then rounding out the grid, P37, another man to watch in the back, Agustin Canapino, no weight penalty. We know he's fast. He came into this round second in the championship. So the back 5 there, actually, well out of position, and it could lead to perhaps a little bit of carnage. We certainly hope not, but there may be point scorers in the back yet.
I distinctly remember one round of ITC being Adelaide, where I left that round very, very unimpressed with the standard Lulu lack of impress.
Yeah. It didn't get the Lulu seal of approval.
It did not get the Lulu seal of approval. But it was.
That was a seal, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really poor attempt.
That was a really bad attempt at a seal.
Agustin Canapino was one of the people over there who didn't do that great, as in pace-wise, perfect. Use of bumpers was also phenomenal, but not in a good way. So it's a really dangerous place for him to start as everyone's starting to get lined up on the grid. So yeah, Canapino is going to be one to look out for from the back. But who's going to win this one? I think Matthew Churgwin is actually in contention for a decent podium position. Another one is GPVWC talent, and yeah, as is Brewster. So here we go for the start.
On the news that Silva does have a contract. We have 3, 4, and 5 lights here for the second time at the Circuit Algarve. We're off and away, and it's a great start from Brewster. He is straight off into lead. There's a poor start from Churgwin, actually, and he's already been jumped by Ross McGregor. Went a bit northern then as we head down into turn 1 south, actually, as Brewster goes a little bit wide again. Oh, is that McGregor round? Oh, McGregor, after such a good start, he's round already at turn 1. I think that was all of his own accord, but Brewster, he's had a great start.
One of the ice cold round.
It's Nielsen. Nielsen's round. Oh, and everyone avoided to be safe out the way. Good driving from Nielsen again. Did you see, was he knocked round?
Yeah, he was tapped round.
Oh, bad stuff from Nielsen. That's a real shame. But look, tie-ins there as well. McGregor and Nielsen all in trouble. Cameron Brewster, he's had a great start, as have the YD F1s. They are in clear air. And behind there, Churgwin trying to fend off Weeks and Sven de Vries. What a great start from Sven as we head into Samsung now. Uphill, Sven around the outside of Weeks. It's very difficult to get a move done there. Weeks is going to hold on just about as de Vries goes wide. Cap it up to P7 already. Goodness me. That's a waffle. Oh, contact with de Vries. He's taking him around the outside of Craig Jones.
Yes,
amazing.
He did.
So, is Churgwin wide?
Yeah.
He's gone very wide there. Is Weeks up the inside now? No, he's on the outside, sorry. As we head into turn 11 and turn 12, there's a lot of battling going on behind, I see here. Olsen and Brugman in battle. Junten. There's Lapassa, Siggy, and Wiesemuller all in battle as well. And there's a gaggle of just all the cars happening behind, of course. But hey, rounding Galp, turn 14 with a lead of 1 second. Cameron Brewster for Walk Racing takes lap 1 from Bart de Vos, Roy Schroten, Churgwin, Weeks, Capit de Vries, Brugman, Olsen, Lapassa, Siggy, Wiesenmuller, Parker in all the cars.
Literally everyone is in 5th.
Yeah. Everyone's in 5th. There's oh, wow. That was tight through turn 1 as Sven de Vries goes very wide. Chogan just about to hold on. Weeks there in P5, just about holding off Capit. Capit, he's getting feisty, isn't he? He's putting his car in a place where you can't really turn in on him, and that's causing all sorts of troubles for the people behind us. Brugman there capitalises. He's up into P7 past 2 Mazureks.
Yeah, the Mazureks going into battle though, heading down to the hairpin.
And it looks like it's a bit of a slide out from De Vries there as Olsen comes out on top, though they're still side by side. Mike Schroeder will not be liking this at all. De Vries, yep, De Vries is going to take that, I believe. Yeah, nice stuff from the American. Now going back up to the front. Sorry, in P3. Bart de Vos is there in P2, but he has to rely heavily on his rear gunner Roy Schroten here, who's got the entire pack riding up into the back of him. It's up to him now to ensure that both De Vos and Brewster can run away with this.
I don't think they're going to be able to run away with it if Risto gets through, but... Oh, Roy spun.
Well, that... And South
Readiness.
don't come back into the field!
Hold the brake.
There we are. Schroten, though, has not fallen out of the points, thankfully. He cuts across, who's that, Mike Bell, and he's battling away with John Monroe, actually, so he's still in the points, but a bit far behind as well. So now it's up to De Vos to hold up the honour of good point-scoring positions for De Vos. But I tell you what, Churgwin, Weeks, Capit, Brugman, and De Vries, they are... Huh?
De Vos to the fastest lap.
Is he catching Brewster as well?
Yes.
He's within 4/10. As a Churgwin there under attack from Weeks around the outside. Oh, Weeks goes off track, unfortunately, though. And is he going to... Oh, is he overtaking him off track?
Yeah, I believe so. I'll check that on a replay.
I don't know. There might have been contact as all. Capit hits the back of Churgwin. Oh, is it Weeks round? Sorry. Oh, no. He's... Oh, losing all the words there. But yeah, De Vos is staying within a second of Brewster.
I'd say that's a very debatable move for... I can't really see it on such a blurry screen.
Capit, he's through on Churgwin. He's gone deep, though, and he's gone off the track. He's come back in to Churgwin. Churgwin rightly takes the position. And it's all about... Yeah, here comes Brugman out the inside of turn 7. Not going to do anything. Oh, they need to stop Capit dominating here. They need to be a bit more bold, if you ask me. It's almost like they're afraid of his presence.
Oh, I don't think there's much they can do. He's got such a pace advantage over a lot of these guys. So Brugman's having a look.
As oh my word, the Vries up the inside of Brugman. Almost, I think he glanced his rear, if anything. But yeah, look at this. So Jordan Weeks is ahead now. If you ask me, Churgwin was the better person to have ahead. He seemed faster than Weeks, to be honest. Possible,
but Weeks is there now anyway. I would say that move probably looked at post-race, but yeah, it was a bit dodgy, but I'll just have to investigate that afterwards.
Roy Schroten's fallen down the field again, unfortunately he isn't off. And unsurprisingly, Jarl Tyen out of the race. I think
4 in a row.
When it's 4 in a row, I think there's the potential for more. It's the driver who needs to change than the drivers around him, to be honest. And he needs to learn as all. Churgwin up the inside of Weeks. And, a little bit forcing off track there.
A bit more squeezing. Careful, you
got to be careful. Getting a bit feisty, and Capit once again hits the back of Churgwin, and there's a bit of a train starting to develop here, Lewis.
That is one choo-choo train right there. But these two, Churgwin and Weeks, too dodgy for me, for my likey. As Capit's through. A bit of contact. Smashy. Someone's off the bumper. Someone spun.
That's Brugman, yeah. Capit just went in far too late there, and he caused a backlog.
Yeah.
He can't do that. Well, the clean fun was fun, but they lost. Churgwin up the inside. Go on, my son. Oh, unfortunately, Capit had the traction there. Huh?
Didn't know you were the father of Churgwin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, strange things happen, though. Strange things happen. Anyway, Capit is free of this, unfortunately, after what was a move that caused plenty of carnage. He's now got Weeks to catch up to, as De Vos has now fallen a second behind Brewster. He's now got traffic of Van der Sloot to work with, and I think Sven de Vries has lost his bumper, unfortunately, so he's going to gain on the straights, but he might come under increasing pressure from Kevin Siggy and Tom Parker. with 27 kilograms of weight ballast. He's back in the top 10 as Siggy. Ooh, yeah, you can see that the lack of front bumper is going to affect him round this corner more than any. Look how wide he is going, and Siggy is through very easily.
Indeed. On that lap, Cameron Brewster's at the fastest lap of the race, and it's holding. No one's reset it, so he's doing a fantastic job out at the front of the field.
He is. As De Vries, he looks for an inside move on Siggy.
That's not going to work with the understeer.
That's not going to work, yeah. Siggy's held up massively. He's just about held it together, and Siggy looking to the outside now. Is Tom Parker going to have a little look through? Yes, he is.
Careful.
It's all, yeah, bit of a bunching up. And here goes Visa Muller up the inside of Parker. Nice opportunistic driving from the German. He's up into 9th.
I'm just going to say, if there was 4 people I didn't want on track in the same group, I mean, you could chuck a couple more people in it to make it worse, but this 4 I would not want on track at the same point, because it's they're all very aggressive. So
they are, yes. Got to be careful, as De Vos is now closed in by a further 0.3 on Brewster. It is lap 5 of 14, so as long as he stays within that second gap, there is still potential for De Vos. 0.5 of a second. He is catching through this second sector. Goodness me.
Maybe a couple of mistakes from Cam.
Maybe a couple of mistakes. Maybe De Vos on the charge. Looking back at Lepasser, another good job from Lepasser. He's up into P5. Churgwin behind him in P6 looking feisty. Then we've got Sven, minus a rear bumper, of course.
Front bumper.
Front bumper, not rear.
Get it right.
I don't know. Siggy in 8th, Visa Muller 9th, Parker 10th, and then the other point scorers, Monroe, Brugman, Lopez, up from the back into 13th. Bell and Strana in there. Richard's also very close to the battle, as is Van der Woude. It'd be nice to see some TAFL points on the board. Oscar, Olsen and Schroten have all retired since our last check-in, as the gap remains at 0.7 to Brewster.
De Vos did do a faster lap that race. Risto Capit's on the fast lap of the race, 32.802. Just looking at Strana, he's making actually really, really good progress. Pushing, oh, that's illegal.
What's illegal?
I think I just saw, and that will have to be looked at afterwards, but I think I just saw Eric pushing Mike down the straight. Now that is banned.
That is bump drafting, and that is illegal, yes.
That is banned in GPVWC at the moment.
Yep,
there's a bit of contact there.
Yep, I see Siggy under massive pressure from Visa Muller. He has to get through De Vries now, surely, because De Vries is holding up Siggy at this point, and Visa Muller is hungry for more points, especially with only 9 kilograms of weight ballast. It does affect you, but not that much, really.
No, this is De Vries is holding him up, but you can't blame De Vries. He's really fighting for it. With that understeer, he's going to be really struggling for pace. Visa Muller's trying to get his way through, though.
A nice battle here, but we see Churgwin starting to pull away, we see Lepasser starting to pull away. Interesting to see that Capit's now riding up to the back of Weeks, and De Vos is within 0.2 of a second within Cameron Brewster. It's that second sector, Lewis. He is bossing it, and he is within slipstreaming range. The Belgian could be in with a chance of robbing Brewster here of his first win.
Especially if Cam forgets what an apex looks like he just did there, and drifts a mile wide of it.
I noticed Capit as well is very close to Weeks as well, so we could see 2 overtakes here in the next couple of laps.
Oh, Cameron running wide onto those anti-cuts. That's going to be very dodgy if he wants to keep this lead. I think he's just pushing too hard. I think that's all Cam's doing, is he's pushing far too hard. And there isn't going to be a move this time, but it's going to be very close.
Down into turn 1 we go. We are going to stay with this lead. The battle as Risto Capit is past Jordan Weeks. The beast has been unleashed. And I was saying that Brewster could lose his inaugural win to another inaugural winner if he does take it of Bart De Vos. But with Capit let loose on lap 7 of 14 here, I reckon both these guys might not be in with a chance of winning, as Sven De Vries has lost positions now. Kevin Siggy and Visa Muller, and Visa Muller loses it at turn 4. And round he goes. Tom Parker goes well off in avoidance, and I think De Vries might be able to get back on Tom Parker into the hairpin. Indeed he does, but Kevin Siggy, the major benefactor, out of that, he's up to P7, and now has Churgwin ahead of him.
Oh, it was just all by himself with Visa Muller, unfortunately.
Yep. We're back up to the front now. 3 seconds is the gap between Capit De Vos.
I think he'll close that.
It is closed to 2.9 seconds.
Considering how quick, when you look at it this way, and you look at the fastest lap of the previous race was a 42.9, I think it was. You know, and you're talking that kind of pace. I don't think you can hold Risto back.
But actually, to be fair, I mean, I keep on thinking last year, this is a Walk Racing 1-3. Or
Yeah.
Walk Racing, it could be a Walk Racing 1-2 if they play their cards right.
All right, do you know what? I think if Cam can hold Bart back, I think it will be a will be a Walk Racing 1-2 at the end of this race.
That would certainly be a great way for Walk to launch themselves off the table with, or up the table, I should say, with Viking, okay, but not great. Enterprise, okay, but not great. Mazurek, again, okay, but not great as Capit takes the fastest lap again. 2.5 seconds to gap now. DeVos needs to make something happen, and very quickly.
As Siggy's trying to move on Chergwin. Oh, not quite paying off.
Nope, and behind, Sven de Vries and Parker are going into battle again. So Sven de Vries back past on Parker, as behind it's all blowing up as Monroe, Lopez and Brugman go into battle. Monroe into the top 10 with 36 kilograms of weight ballast.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job at the moment, as Brugman was just trying to bounce back from the earlier incident when he spun, or got spun at the hairpin after that massive dive bomb from Capit.
A shout out to Maciej Bogarts as well. Because of Rob Wiesemuller's spin, he is now into the point, but he has got the German right behind him, so it's going to be a difficult job for the T4 to remain in those points. Canapino, by the way, into 17th, so he's not too far away from the points either. As we look back up to the front, the gap between oh dear, Capit is closing rapidly. And also, to be fair, think about it this way: do you think Brewster would let Capit through?
Okay, here's the thing. I'm just find a camera. Is the thing with Risto is look at him in another league when he was racing with Ruti Speak. Same team, everything like that. There was never a team order. I think that'll be the same thing here. There won't be a team order for Cam to get out of the way. Cam gets to play his card. Cam gets to go for the win. And I think Cam wants it enough that he's going to fight for it. So, you know, we'll see. I think to do the right thing, I think he has to defend for the lead. And I think he'll do it. I think he'll defend. I don't think he'll sidestep.
1.4 seconds from the lead is Risto Capit. Surely he must be within a second of Bart the Boss now. As Jordan Weeks remains 3 seconds behind the leader. Martin Lapassa as well, actually. Very quiet race for Lapassa, but he's there in P5 doing another very solid job, the Estonian. Siggy all on his own on P6 now after getting past Chergwin in P7, and then here comes Tom Parker and Sven de Vries, a battle that keeps on giving more and more as Tom Parker decides to visit Sven de Vries' favourite...
Bash Parker.
Yeah. The lingerie store remains open for anybody. Sven de Vries saw what ones were inside in race 1. Tom Parker decided to have a look and was less impressed. He was off the track for a considerably less amount of time, but to be fair, the effect was worse because of how close the guys were behind him. Look at this. Strada, Lopez and Brugman effectively pushing themselves around turn 5 at Torovip. These points positions could finish in any order, to be honest. As here goes Lopez up the inside of Brugman. Very opportunistic, and that's poor from Fran.
No, that was really disgusting, Fran.
That was wrong. And Brugman's out, and I don't blame him. So a real shame for Brugman there, unfortunately. But looking back up to the front now. Parker, sorry.
Sorry, Parker just trying to get past Eric.
Oh, he's fallen back, hasn't he? I'm just thinking up at the front here, sorry, because this is Capit on DeVos.
Indeed, it's very close.
DeVos has fallen off by a second now to the lead. As he tries to defend for his life, I think any point score will be good for YDF1 at this point. But this is a podium we're talking about, and this is DeVos's personal glory that he'll be wanting to keep intact.
Yeah, it will help Edness in the team standings if he keeps this kind of position, or if he keeps anywhere towards top 5. It's looking good that he's going to get a top 5 this event, so that's great, as Risto's going to be having a look. I think Risto knows that he can just bide his time and make the right move.
DeVos has already made a problem
made a bit of a mistake.
Round turn 3 at Lagos we go. DeVos holds station, he goes deep to try and defend. Risto's going to get the better line.
Nice attempt at defending, though. He's going to hold the inside line.
As Silva also retires, I see Cabrera's gone as well. DeVos, will he hold the inside? Yes, he will. Risto goes to the outside.
Remember, the outside line's a bit faster.
Clean around the outside from Risto Capit. That was a beautiful move from the Estonian.
That was a properly beautiful move.
Into P2 he goes.
Yeah, the outside line was a little bit quicker there. I think we'd already seen that a couple of times throughout the race. But yeah, up to P2 for Risto Capit. I did say he was probably going to win this race. He's got only his teammate that's stopping him from doing so. And at the end of this lap, there'll be 4 to go.
Walk Racing 1-2. Portimao looks to be a very good circuit for the Romanian outfit. DeVos held up Capit by about 5/10 in his charge to the race lead. Now it's up to Capit to get past his own teammate to secure his first win of the championship. Behind, Weeks remains in fourth as DeVos goes wide! Oh no, Bart! And will he lose a position to Lapassa? No, he won, but I think Lapassa's faster. So Weeks up into the podium.
Oh, he's sliding.
And might he have used up his tyres perhaps?
Possibly. This is not the world drifting competition. Calm down. He's going to be burning up his tyres. I don't think. I mean, I've driven these cars a lot. Obviously,
Yeah, no, the tyres are durable, aren't they? But
the tyres are fairly durable. It's just once you start sliding on them, once you start unsettling, they're kind of there for a couple of laps, and they'll be trying to get away from you for a couple of laps. He just needs to keep calm. These cars respect calm driving. You know, they respect a slidey driving if that's your style, and you can keep hold of that. They do respect that. As
Lapassa,
yep.
Trying to pull the same defensive move as he pulled on Capit, but we know how this one ended.
No, he clipped the curve a bit too much. It's cost him too much.
Because just on the inside.
He's got the curve too much coming through for.
Be signed, sealed, and delivered for Lapassa, surely.
Yeah.
Down he goes, and that's a nice move as well. So Lapassa up into fourth, and I think DeVos will be happy to know that Siggy's about 3 seconds behind him. It's lap 11 of 14, so.
Risto.
Risto? Wow.
Yeah, that is close.
Battles up at the front. Will DeVos be able to hold on to fifth? Look, oh my word, look at P10 here, Lewis. This is a gaggle.
Oh, wow, I'm just, yeah.
Brewster! Has Brewster let him through? Or did he go wide?
Let's have a wee look.
Oh, he outbroke himself, and Brewster. He tried to get back on the line, but Capit is through, and that was a lot easier than he was expecting.
Risto is faster than you. Sure, the radio message that probably wouldn't have been played there.
I don't think Brewster's been bad enough to do a Rosberg. We know he wants that win desperately.
Yeah, either way, it's absolutely stunning drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, this is where Brewster excelled last year. You know, he got good positions in race 2, and he capitalised on them.
Oh, through the final turn back at P10, you've had Tom Parker and Fran Lopez trying to do it side by side. That's not the best way of doing it. I'm sure Eric's not too happy looking at this.
Choo-choo, all aboard the De Vries train. Next stop, the wall.
Who knows?
Tom Parker looks to the inside of Monroe here. There's lots of weight penalty in here as well. There's Fran Lopez around the outside. It's all a bit of a mess, really.
Eric's making an opportunity.
Here goes Eric Strand up the inside.
Good catch.
Good catch. Wow.
Remember,
how these guys have all managed to survive in one piece through that corner is astonishing.
Yeah, you've got Matt Richards just behind them. But Eric's doing a properly solid job to use this weight penalty to try and get back to the field.
Absolutely. Augustin Canapino, by the way, he is now into the point. Rob Wiesemuller into 14th, Matthias Bogarts, unfortunately, in 16th, though. With post-race penalties, you never know whether being in 16th will be a near miss or luckily getting in as Fran Lopez cuts the inside or the outside curb. And a bit of contact with Richards there. Again, two very aggressive drivers you don't want to see in the same place, unfortunately. Lopez able to hold on to P12 there through Craig Jones. Richards on the outside. And around the outside he'll try and go as they all find different lines and all manage to end up in the same place out of Portimao corner. But back up at the front, it's lap 12 of 14, going to be going on to lap 13 of 14 very soon. Capit has extended the gap to 1.5 seconds, and you must be said, race 1, perhaps a little bit dodgy, a little bit forceful as he goes off track there. But this race, he has shown the sort of quality driver he can be, at least.
Yeah, he's done a properly solid job. Just
2 seconds a gap now.
Yeah, I did say, he's so fast in these cars. It hurts my feelings how fast he is in these cars. He's just doing a cracker of a job right there, and it's just a properly solid job. He's walking away with this one. As I say, his teammate as well was doing a fantastic job. Probably kind of come under a fire from Mr. Jordan Weeks, though, from what I'm seeing on my timing.
Yeah, perhaps. And also, Martin Lapassa, but DeVos did not let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, he went wide, Lapassa went through, but DeVos still could be in with the chances. Jordan Weeks could have a shot at second here, couldn't he? He's looking pacey. He's within the right sort of space to be able to make a move.
Indeed, he's doing a solid job to move himself up into the runner-up position, but a bit too deep on the brakes. Careful, Jordan.
He can recover that. It's okay.
Yeah.
As we head down the order as well, there's a lot of battling going on behind. In 13th to 15th, Bisa Muller
Yeah, this is the big
was up into
gaggle.
13th. Yep, now back into 15th. But we'll keep on
He's
board with.
off the track though. He's going for a nice little run.
Oh,
Is Mr.
Boggart's
Wiesenmuller?
trying to
he's
capitalize. It's
stunned.
Monroe's round. Monroe's round. Boggart's back up into the point. I think that might be Monroe's challenge gone. Nielsen and Junt's behind him now.
Strong into the top 10.
Drawing him into the top 10, yeah, so not bad from him. Yeah, look at Weeks here. Weeks is taking a very wide line into P13. It's almost like he's trying to line up, getting into the
Keep that
slipstream,
momentum.
which you can do, yeah. So we're going on to the final lap of the race now. Capit, unless he throws this away spectacularly, should be on
Nice
for his
word.
first race win of the season.
GPVWC. First win
In
GPV.
GPVWC as well, yeah, fair point. Weeks though, he has a chance at second here. He's 5/10 behind Brewster, heading into turn 1. That's a nice line from Brewster. Weeks absolutely launching himself over the curb. Very aggressive. You can see he means to make up time on the on his fellow Englishman here. Heading through turn 4 now. Weeks, I think he's got the better line through there actually. And yes, he does. Look how much better drive he has out of that corner. Right into the slipstream of Brewster. He's going to go to the outside here is Weeks, as Capit looks to get past traffic. Weeks looking for the cutback. Oh, he's very close, isn't he? He might have a stab into Samsung, actually. Looks to the inside here. You'd only be doing that.
Tight.
It's always on the outside now, sorry, of turn 7. You have to cut back in for Samsung if he has any hope as Florian Engel goes off the track. As I say, lots of traffic to get through here. Weeks is right with him here, though. Look at this. He won't be getting something done through Craig Jones, but into Portimao, Weeks might look to have a stab. Indeed, here he goes now.
Bit of traffic.
Weeks. Bit of traffic, and Brewster cuts across to try and get out of the way of the traffic. I think the traffic worked very much in Brewster's favour there, actually. As we now head into turn 11 and turn 12, La Pasa ever catching, but not quite close enough. Weeks.
Always
Look
looking
at
for
the
it.
inside.
Too much.
Too
I think that's
much.
it. That's
I
it.
think that is it as well. We'll look back to our race leader now. We'll keep an eye on Brewster and Weeks behind. No, I think that is done and dusted. So, Walk Racing, not the best of race 1s, but race 2 could not have gone any better. Risto Capit said he was going to dominate from here on out in Catalonia. Not exactly the start of that story in race 1. Could this be the start of the story here? He takes race 2 win and his first of the season. Cameron Brewster an ever impressive second. Jordan Weeks third. Martin La Pasa and a very good fourth. Bart DeVos 11 points for wide the F1. Great effort from him. 3/10 ahead of Kevin Siggy in P6. So great job from DeVos. Matthew Churgwin comes in a very good P7. Sven de Vries P8. Tom Parker P9. Eric Strana P10. Matt Richards P11. Augustin Canapino P12 from the back
Great
of the grid.
drive.
Great stuff from Canapino.
Oh,
Visa
someone's
Muller
sliding down the hill. Don't know who that was.
Visa Muller 13th, Fran Lopez 14th, and Tay4 are on the boards thanks to the efforts of the pole. Matthias Boggarts. Retirements for this race. Well, there were quite a few of them actually. Silva, Brugman, Cabrera, Schroten, Olsen, Oscar, and Tyen once again wrapping up his 4th retirement of the year.
Indeed. That was a solid. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is what we wanted to see in Barcelona. It was a much better race. There was a couple of dodgy moments, a couple of uncomfortable issues that were seen on track, but it was a much better race. People were a bit more respectful of what we saw, and it was just a cleaner grid. So congratulations to everyone. Very good drive from Risto Cabot. I said he's just so fast. He didn't put many foots wrong, so Risto Cabot did a fantastic job. But what's in store for the rest of the season? 2 weeks time we go to Turkey. It's a very different track as well. I think it's Turkey, isn't it?
It is, yeah. The 2013 Turkish Sports Series, I remember as well, was a very good race 1 where we had Cooper and Hardwick battling for pretty much the entire race in race 1. It provides some excellent racing, perhaps not the nicest of tracks to drive for some people, very much like Portimao, I guess. But anyway, wonderful job, and Tom Parker actually commending De Vries for his defending ability to lose a front bumper and stay in P8, was it by the end? Really impressive job from Sven, but the best of jobs had to be done by Walk Racing, and for me, the race 2 driver of the day was absolutely Risto Capit. To come from the midfield to win a race, and especially for Walk Racing to get a 1-2, couldn't be happier, I guess, Mr. Bogdan.
Yeah, he there proved why he is champion over in TPS in these cars. He is stunningly fast in them. So, he's hopefully moving on to the next round with no grid penalty. He won't actually get grid penalties unless he's done something in qualifying because he finished the points in both races. But going into the next round, no grid penalties, and the same thing with Mr. Eric Strana. Hopefully, he won't have any grid penalties because if those two look like they are the class, sorry, I hit my microphone. Oof. Those two look like they're the class of the field at the moment, just with how their performance was here. So, I think you're going to see those two, dependent on weight, probably doss it out at the top of the field. So that's going to be one that I'm going to really want to see in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like we're going to have every single. Now we don't have 7 podium sitters, do we?
We certainly don't.
No. Okay, so I think we should have all 6 podium sitters, though.
There is nice. 6 in there, I think.
Right, so let's drag them in. All the people. Right, we have literally all 6 people from the podium. I think this is the first time we've ever had every single person on the podium in a room. So well done for being the first one in my commentary career with this new limitation, guys. So let's start, shall we, with race 1 winner, Eric Strana. Got the most pole positions last year in WSS. You were there right up to the end in Monza with the title fighters. You missed round 1. You came back. Risto took pole. You inherited it, and you didn't pull away with it necessarily as much as we thought you were going to do. But was there still a relatively comfortable victory in your eyes?
No. John was completely mad in turn 3, so I thought he was going to wreck me every single lap until I got a bit of a gap. But after I got that, like you said, I thought I would actually pull away a bit more than I did as well. But that didn't happen. After I finally got a gap on John, then I could just pull away slowly but surely.
And race 2, of course, we know you had difficulty with race 2s last year. Thanks in part to you gaining weight penalty in race 1, but surely a top 10 for you is going to satisfy you no end, because considering that you finished outside the top 10 most times last year, to actually be up there shows that perhaps you've learned a bit more on how to control the weight in comparison to last year.
Well, maybe I just did I finish 10th? I lost track after a while.
I think you finished 10th.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean that's always good. The top 10, so it's all that weight. It really destroyed everything I had, which was good. But yeah, that's something to work on.
We're heading to Turkey next. It's a similar track to Portugal, to the Circuit Algarve, in that it's a track that there's great racing to watch on it, but not necessarily a great track to drive. Do you feel that you can challenge for pole position again there, or are you expecting perhaps a little bit less to come from this event?
It's hard to say. It's also a new track for the series, as far as I know. So
no, it was ran in 2013, actually.
Okay, never mind. So then everyone's almost on the same boat. So we'll see. I have no idea. I'm gonna try, but we'll see.
Well, thank you very much, Eric, and congratulations for your win. We're now going to move on to a new race winner here in the WSS, but you've obviously won plenty of times in these cars before. It's Risto Capit. Now, Risto, interesting race 1. As we said with our interview with Eric and throughout the program, of course, you had to deal with a 15-place grid penalty after qualifying. Well done on pole position, by the way, but you showed some good prowess. God, losing my words. You showed some good prowess in getting up into the midfield in race 1, and you were stuck there again in race 2 on the starting grid, yet you kept your composure yet again, pulled off some wonderful moves that we were able to catch on screen, and ultimately taking your first win in brilliant style, gaining a good few seconds on your teammate. You must be thrilled to at least get the duck off your back and get your first win on the board here at GPVWC.
Yes, I am, especially after this first round. Yeah, race 1 was quite interesting from the positions wise. It was quite far from the lead, but yeah, it was very heavy fighting all the way, and it was quite hard. I did, like midway through the race, I was up to P7 and stuff, and I was doing quite nice laps, but I didn't really get any further. All the positions from 1 to 6, they were driving really, really fast, so really, really nice competition. But I knew that even if I could have gone further, I think I would have stopped at P5 or P6 because I didn't want to wait. So pretty much almost a perfect race. I mean, compared to my qualifying, except for the fastest lap, my pace wasn't really that good. So I need to improve on that. But yeah, it was a great setup for the race too. And in race two, with the grid reversed and the faster guys having weight, it wasn't that hard. It was maybe a bit easier to pull off these moves, but it was still great racing. There were some touches. I did do a little bit of bumps, but it was very good, very high level. And seeing Cameron in the lead was very good. When closing up to him, I tried to make some pressure on Bart so Cameron could get away. And it kind of worked. For a moment, I thought I should have rear gunned him for some long time, but it still worked out in the end. I got my win. Walk racing got 1-2. It's great, amazing, super.
And actually, to be fair, we've had a lovely stat through from Sandeep Choda, who unfortunately couldn't take part due to internet issues today. The walk racing 1-2 that you achieved here today is the first 1-2 in World Sports Series since 2012, and I believe that was the Torrent Motorsport outfit of Bornas Poliaric and Boy van der Laar. So what you've done is very impressive, and I tell you what, I'm sure the rest of the field will be very interesting to see how they can tackle you next time out in Istanbul. So thank you very much, and congratulations on your win, Risto. Right, let's move on to the race one second place man now of John Monroe. So John, you joined us as a non-podium sitter last time in Catalonia. And like, oh, I wasn't expecting much, but just got yourself a P2 there. I mean, you must be absolutely thrilled with the job that you're able to do and to keep up with Eric for so long as well.
Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised by the first race. I did quite a lot of practice for this one, and it seemed to pay off because I wasn't expecting really to be, especially in the top three. But not only that, was I right behind Eric for the whole time, and I think I gave him quite a few scares into turn three because I have a bit of a deeper line in there, which was I thought was quite funny because I could tell it was probably worrying him how big my car was suddenly becoming in his rearview mirror every time. But yeah, got to the middle of the race and I just started making a few mistakes. Eric started throwing out the lap times quicker than I'd ever done on a quali lap. So it was he won the race just fair and square by driving that bit quicker in the middle stint, and I couldn't keep up. But yeah, delighted to hold on to the second place, first podium. So yeah, it's good progress.
Progress that we hope to see next round, because I mean we're all aware that you've got your racing, your real life racing going on, and good luck at the weekend, by the way. But can we expect to see you back next time out at in Turkey? Sorry.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks very much for that. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to basically do as many as I can. That's the way it goes. I mean, I'm quite busy at the moment. I've got quite a lot on. Whenever I'm going to be free on the Wednesday nights of the races, I will try and take part. I'll just kind of find any seat I can, to be honest. So I've kind of got a constant job application on the go and just drive for whoever's wanting me and whoever I feel I could do a good job with. So yeah, I'm just going to have a bit of fun. Keep on driving around and keep practicing and trying to get some more points. I'm a bit disappointed with the race too because I felt like I could have got a top 8 in that until it got a bit too heated and then ended up facing the wrong way. So a bit disappointed with that, but yeah, I'll come back stronger next time and hopefully do as many races this season as I can.
That was a fantastic effort nonetheless, John. So thank you very much for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Now we move on to Mr. Race 2 himself, Cameron Brewster. Start from P2 must have been quite a relief for you after what was a difficult qualifying and difficult race 1. But once again, you showed what you could do as you did last year. And it was a shame to see you lose out on the lead like you did going wide at Portimao. But surely you must be happy with your first podium of the year.
Just thinking about it, I think I'm quite good at getting podiums in race 2s of round 2s of WSS.
Yes, because you did it in Spain, didn't you?
But no, qualifying wasn't great. Ended up beating my qualifying pace in, I think, both races. I haven't had as much practice as I would have liked by far, but I've had so much help from Risto, and he's been so brilliant since I signed for Walk at the start of this year, giving me tips, helping me get faster, giving me the confidence to know that I can go quicker. And race 2, got the jump on Bart into the first few corners. and then the nerves set in, and I could just see Risto climbing up the order, and I knew that he was going to overtake me at some point. It was going to be a question of whether I outbraked myself and let him through, or he ended up overtaking me, and it ended up being the former. But no, absolutely ecstatic to get a 1-2 with Walk, and it's nice to get a decent haul of points given the sort of difficult first few races of the season. But massive thank you to Mr. C and everyone else who's a part of Walk for making me feel so welcome.
I must ask, and it's a similar question that I've asked to quite a few drivers over their time in World Sports Series. There's obviously elation of getting a podium in race 2, yet there's obviously the disappointment of perhaps thinking, oh, I could have done better here and I could have done better here in qualifying and race 1. Would you rather have this sort of situation where you might not be as strong in race 1, but you can battle for podiums in race 2, or would you actually rather have a more equal event? Would you rather, say, be 7th and 7th across the board?
It's always nice to get a podium, but I mean, I definitely think that I'm capable of getting sort of top 10, nudging top 5s. It's just race 1 tonight, I had a few spins, obviously due to a lack of practice, and the first round in Spain, as you guys well know, the racing wasn't as clean as was to be expected. But no, I've got no doubt that I can perhaps continue with the odd podium here or there and get consistent top 10s. It's just going to be a case of finding the time to practice.
It would be great to see you further progress, Cam. Thanks for joining us, and congrats on the podium as well. And now we move on to the beautiful man himself, Tom Parker. How on earth did you do that?
I don't know. I genuinely do not know.
It's like,
yeah.
I think this is. I'm right in saying this is your first podium since the first round of last season, if I'm correct. And honestly, I haven't seen you so strong in the car, as in just being actually solid and consistent and looking like a podium driver all the way back since your win in the 2013 German Sports Series.
Yeah, I think John gave me something to concentrate on with his car being right there, which is really good. But I've got to thank Martin Lepazza. He gave me one setup tip, and it's found me a good half second, so I've got to thank him for that. But otherwise, yeah, race 1, nice and clean. Enjoyed that, just following John around. Yeah, it wasn't too far away at the end, but I don't think I could have got any better. Eric just buggered off into the distance. Sorry about language. And yeah, it was fun to get a podium, like I said, first one since last year. First was for Epic Racing as well, GPVWC, so good on Epic. Race 2, I just couldn't get past Sven. I mean, Asin and me, I don't know how he did it. He had no front bumper and held us back for 10 laps, so fair play to him. The weight just got me down. If I didn't have to wait, I mean, I might have been able to get past him, but I just couldn't do anything. Couldn't do anything about it. But yeah, very happy with 2 top 10s, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Turkey's next. I believe you took part with Midnight last 2013 Turkish Sports Series. Could we hope for another epic podium from you, or are you going to try and reserve your thoughts and your aspirations until you know what you're doing on the server? Of which I think we might have just lost Tom Parker.
Oh, I didn't think I've been lost.
No, you're still here.
Oh no!
There
we are.
But no, I don't know what's going on really. I mean, I don't really know what's going on where I'm driving in the career ladder at the moment. So that's another distraction. But WSS, I mean, I only started practicing yesterday, and to be fair, I'm not really a fan of the track today, and I'm not really a fan of the track at Turkey. But if I hate a track, I'm usually quite good there. See Abu Dhabi last year, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm only aiming for top 10. I think today was a bit of a fluke, obviously, with Ross, Risto, etc., having their problems and their weight, etc. But we'll see. Who knows? Got to dare dream big.
Dream big, and only banter, of course. Thank you for joining us, Tom.
Thank you.
Finally, Jordan Weeks. Well, it's been an eventful start to the season for you. A podium in race 1 of Catalonia, flipping Nielsen over in race 2 of Catalonia. It was an okay performance in race 1 here, and then a lovely podium to take home in race 2 at Portugal. Are you going to find some consistency this year, or are we going to be expecting podium or nothing from you?
To be honest, this season I'm not really bothered about getting podiums and all that. I'm just here to drive. Let's be honest. I haven't been practicing for all the races much at all. So yeah, I'm just here to try and get as much enjoyment out as possible.
I think that's actually a fair aim. I mean, at the end of the day, sim racing should be fun, and I think 2 weeks ago, of course, it wasn't that fun, and it was good to see you up at the sharp end again. So, I guess you have no real championship aspirations. It's just have fun, do as well as you can.
Well, at the moment, it's just yeah, this season is just the hell. This season it's just yeah. I don't really care about being anywhere in the championship. It's just drive because I wasn't actually meant to do this season, but there was a seat. Simon asked me, I took it, and I'd just drive whatever. I mean, this race I only done like maximum 50 laps. So some people would say that's quite a lot, but to me it's not. But my main focus is, to be honest, Super League. But hey, I'm here to drive. What else can I do?
And I'll tell you what, drive you did. So congratulations on your podium, Jordan. And then that is the end of our interviews. That was a long one, wasn't it, Lewis? But hey, next time we're going to Istanbul Park. After it was taken off the calendar last year, there was an outcry. It's where's Istanbul gone? We there's no money involved. We're back there now. Usually produces good racing, even though it might not be the best place to drive for some people. And I'm guessing we're expecting and hoping for more of the same that we saw here, because that was a lot better than Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. We want more of that kind of racing. Maybe a bit cleaner than what we actually had, but yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Which is always good. Obviously, aside from that, we've got Portimao coming up next week in the career ladder for the Formula Challenge, the Super Cup, and the Super League. And actually, tomorrow we have the World GT, the first round, using the URD GTs in
Yes,
R02,
indeed.
which I will be partaking. Don't know if we'll have a broadcast for that or how that's
We are
going
not.
to work. We are not having a broadcast.
We're
There you
not
go.
having a broadcast because everything. It's a shame because we don't actually have the proper tools to give you a good broadcast. And if they
Get
are,
on that live races.
yeah, get on that live races. Have a look at the action. Keep up with the championship because it is still it's looking pretty open. To be fair, I think there's a couple of people who will definitely be in the fight. Can never be too sure though. It's a new simulator for a lot of people. But yes, as for Broadcaster World GT, it is the Thursday every month after World Sports Series. We're hoping to have some broadcasts for you into the season, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, as Lewis says, it's the career ladder next week anyway. Tuesday, as always, for Open Series and Formula Challenge. Super Cup for the Wednesday. Super League for the Thursday. And then, I believe... Ooh, do we have... Yes, we do. Then, it's not World Sports Series on the Wednesday because we have the first round of the
ITC.
International Touring Cup. We are going to Braga, so another Portuguese track, but a completely different one. With its own set of unique challenges, so make sure to tune in with that with the amazing Comsci Smith, and then come back to us 2 weeks Wednesday when we will be heading to Istanbul Park and continuing this season of 2 races and hopefully a lot better racing to come. I'd just like to thank my cameraman extraordinaire and my co-commentator for this evening, Lewis McGlade, for joining me in the comm box. I've been James Kirk, and from all of us here, it's a very warm goodbye.